Another day here on the Splash Play NFL channel. If it's Friday, you know what that means. Time to strap in and do some big board drafts. We're going to catch up some of the free agency news out there. Really nothing major, but guys like Geno Smith getting signed to big deals. We're going to also draft for $250,000, of course, the top prize. This tournament that last year, I got 3 finalists across out of 62 teams drafted entirely on stream. Let's get into it. I'm in the 2-hole in this one today. Yesterday, the draft thrown out, was trying to get one in while I was getting a workout going. And unfortunately, it was a Davis Maddock draft, and I guess he had a troller or a troll and a troller. That was a fucking boomer way of saying it. I guess he had a troll in his stream who then was ruining the draft after getting sniped on Zay Flowers in pick 5, and then just proceeded to take players that had nothing to do with anything. So it is not a good time sometimes on these stream drafts. Today, they'll hopefully have a good one, and I guess it'll start with taking Saquon and Bucky at the 2-hole. Of course, Saquon last year, a player that we were not very high on relative to the field. Of course, a player that a lot of people, their entire personality, you know, like those old BuzzFeed quizzes where they tell you, like, you know how you went to private school in the Northeastern District and you played lacrosse? Those kind of quizzes, that was what people had last with Saquon Bucky. Became everything about their personality. I was not there last year, but obviously what he showed volume-wise, the faint chance of the tush push being banned, hard to not like Saquon Bucky again this year. And pick 102, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. If you're wondering if I wasn't doing it, I'm in fact doing it. Shout out to the chat, though. Good show on Lulz yesterday. I appreciate that. It was a nice time here hanging out, of course, with Pete and Brick, 2 guys that I mentioned on the stream, 2 of my favorite people in the industry, both as like actual people, and also their show is great. So if you want to learn more about my backstory, I guess, where what the last few years have been like for me, feel free to go check that out. It's on Pete's channel, and it was yesterday. So check out the Lulz show. Thank you for that, guys. I appreciate it. Lots of GMs. And yes, Travioli, I see that you need to be in every stream room. More power to you. I don't think you deposited my promo code, so it doesn't help me anyway, but shout out to you being in yet another stream room. I've seen you in every streamer draft room over the last week. So my eyes are on the watch here for somebody who needs maybe a little too much attention. That's what I'm going to say. But shout out to you being in here. We got our guy Go Easy Cards in here as well. And of course, you guys are welcome to join along with me on these drafts, even though I will mock you for it if you're in every draft room trying to get your name out there. It's a little bit cringe to me, but follow your hearts, guys. Whatever sparks joy. Our guy Chunk, though, in the 12 hooks. Oh, God. Puppy duty is making my brain really slow down here as the week goes on. Excited to see him today. Wow. The word excited, you'd never think would be hard to say, but here on a Friday, making it tough. Tush push ban would help Saquon. That is true. That is true. You are playing catch up, getting banned. Sure. Worried about Bucky getting hurt after such a big workload. Why? That's what do you get for that? What is your prize for worrying about injuries? You're going to worry about that for every player that had a lot of workload last year. Saquon wasn't even the highest touch guy in football. There were guys who got more. Like, what's the point? Just draft the guys if you want to. Don't draft the guys if you don't want to. That's what I would recommend. Let's see what else we got going. So Geno Smith signing, I think, would be one of the biggest news items of the week. Got his guaranteed money there, which I think was expected anyway. And I think that's one thing, too, where sometimes a guy like Geno gets the contract. He goes up 10 spots in ADP. He's like, whoa, now it's official. And it's like, it was going to happen. They wouldn't trade for him if they didn't have a deal roughly in place. You still got to cross the T's and dot the I's and all of that and get it to where it needs to go. But that's the kind of things that I think happen this time of year where little things you're already expecting results in people's ADPs going up, coming maybe even untenable at some point. Some other situations as well for guys like Keenan Allen right now. I fully get knocking him down. I didn't even knock him down in my rankings last week. I have to do an update in the next couple of days for those as well. People are paying for the Spags rankings down below the Squirt Squad tier. If you just want to read them, the VIP tier if you want to use them on Underdog. But check out one of those if you want to use the rankings here that I use for myself and use on screen. And also, of course, build lovingly and write up the blurbs really is the main thing for me. I love doing that part of the process. So we'll get to about 300 at least, probably more like 500 over the course of the summer. So be a lot coming in there. The point being, like Keenan Allen, like he's low right now, probably because he just doesn't want to sign with anybody or there wasn't a good enough deal to justify him going into OTAs, him needing to be there now, attached to an organization, showing face and whatever. And the reality is, like, if Keenan Allen falls to like 160 and then he gets signed by, I don't know, the Chiefs because somebody got hurt, they need a slot guy. And that's not the analogy you should always use. It shouldn't always be the Chiefs, but like he goes anywhere good because they just need depth or they need a guy who could actually catch some balls. Like that's probably what Keenan Allen's waiting for. And it's like, he's basically going more and more free by the day. So, being price sensitive about things that people just haven't seen yet, that could be an important thing to be aware of. I've had Saquon and Bucky teams. I feel like enough at this point. I do like that pairing up top, just kind of be done at RB. Higgins, I'm certainly okay have him as a 22 ranked guy. McBride going this early. I get he got the big contract, but it doesn't make him a better player. He was the same player he was before. I'm going to do it again. I'll go Saquon and Bucky. Don't think Bucky would make it on the way back for me with this guy only having drafted no RBs so far. And again, I feel pretty comfortable with Saquon Bucky pairing. Saquon, a guy last year, obviously had the outlier years we talked about. Certainly someone that we know to be a good player and, and somebody we love, obviously, for what he did last year. For Bucky, though, a player's on the upswing, a player who's already, this actually past week, been called the guy by Todd Bowles. Bowles did say as well, like we've talked about on stream, the expectation that Rachaad White will be the RB2 there, still getting good work. But Bucky's going to be your lead back for a Bucs team that should be keeping a lot of similarities to what it had before. I was going to take T. Higgins anyway with the last pick, so I'm pretty cool taking him now. So our first receiver here, T. Higgins, he got his new money as well. Cincinnati, everything's happy. They want to stay together, which frankly, I do think is something where, last year, my concern for Cincinnati was that their season was going to get weird. Just didn't like the team overall. Didn't have the vibes that I think that I wanted to have with those guys not having contracts heading into the year. Now that we've seen them go through it for a year, and we also last offseason saw some articles with T. Higgins talking about how much the contract stuff affected him the year before last, how it affected his play. He felt like he wasn't his best self, and now he's kind of ready to do a little bit more. I feel really comfortable taking T. Higgins this year. So at pick 25 or pick 26 here, happy to do it. But Higgins, to me, the Bengal stack to me, I'm back in this year, which is, I know, not a controversial take. But last year it was also a lesson for me too, quite frankly, that I got right that team was going to have kind of a year from hell, or a year where the results were not there as a team. But in reality, that defense being so bad, and it's not going to be any better this year, especially if they still can't come to terms with Trey Hendrickson. If that thing drags out, they've already lost some guys on defense, haven't added anybody meaningful. The defense could be worse this year, and now these guys are secure in their contracts, and you could end up getting hurt as they have enough times in the past, in particular with T. Higgins. But I think you're going to get probably the most ceiling outcome here, and it is what it is. So that's adapting. This team, I think, really more than anything, these are guys I wasn't in on last year, Saquon and T. Higgins, and one guy I loved last year who now is 150 picks more expensive in Bucky Irving. Always great to tail guys up that high. Good fucking morning from our guy Tyler here. Of course, the Typhel Tower stream's going off on Thursdays as well. Sure, you should check out my LOL stream first, but after that, you go check out our guy Tyler's stream. Got Bindles here. Good to see him here as well. I think you're still doing some streams. I feel like I've seen your streams pop up a little bit on Twitter, but not as often as the Typhel Tower does. Now I actually remember the name, especially. Help me out here. Shout out to all you guys watching. Again, we'll be doing we'll do 2 drafts today. No surprises here. And of course, if you are new around here and you haven't used Underdog before, please do support the show. If you want to see more content like this, and there is going to be more of it no matter what this year. But if you want to make my life a lot easier in 2026, please join down below with Underdog. Use promo code SPLASH, $1,000 in bonus cash. I will flash the big subliminal messaging here. Again, if you want content like this to go on, really, whether it's my channel or the ones out there, using promo codes like promo code SPLASH here help out a lot. And of course, it helps you out too. $1,000 bonus you get there matched. So if you're putting in $1,000, you get $1,000 back on that. You also then get a free pick'em. So if you are in a pick'em state, you can go use the unabated data today with me and NBA on the Splash Play Bets channel. Of course, my NBA streams at 4 p.m. Or you can just go do whatever the fuck you want. Just gamble your money on there. But do check it out. It does support the show. And it's a really important thing for this year, guys, for us to hit some sign-up goals. I know our guy Patrick signed up yesterday, I believe. What was his name again? Username was Urinal Pube. Urinal Pube signing up yesterday here. If you want to make the bit that you guys sign up with promo code SPLASH and make the most absurd names that will still pass Underdog's ability to create a username, make that the bit. I'm cool with that. If I end up in rooms with like ass cakes and like Spags' butt, I don't fucking care for using the promo code. Please, that would make me feel a lot better. So please use promo code SPLASH on Underdog. And shout out for Terrence here, TD now. Sorry, you've changed your, I don't know if you want your full name out there, but appreciate you joining back to the community. And to check out the content, of course, in the Discord. If you are a member on here, join the Discord. It is a big thing. One more big flashing thing. Discord, good time on there, especially for football. I pop in tweets all the time, things I think are interesting. Give my take on it. A lot of guys asking questions. As we get to our bot, Artillery Frost, who left me a very long question about EPA stuff, which people are like curious about now. Because Ben Johnson, actually, of course, our favorite guy there, moving to Chicago to be the head coach after leading Detroit's offense to such success, talking recently to the media about how he thinks EPA is the most important metric, how even traditional turnover margin stuff doesn't really matter as much to him. Like, EPA is everything in the pass game, focusing on that. And you can read the tea leaves too and what that means for a guy like Caleb Williams, takes a lot of sacks. A guy like Caleb Williams, who also can sometimes fuck up drives with picks, costly deep throws that don't go anywhere, and then actively cost EPA. But people still, I think, confused about EPA, and it's like, it's been a stat that I've sworn by for years. And the most important thing to take away from it is just a reflection of like players performing above average in different spots. And sometimes it's high leverage spots, like your 4th and 1. Sometimes it's 1st and 10. You just put up 30 yards. Sometimes it's getting a first down on, 3rd down in a high leverage spot as a receiver, or just moving the sticks for a couple yards as an RB. But like in reality, it's just a reflection of how good a player is. That's really like, I think people get really confused by anything that's not a traditional counting stat. And it's like, just look at the data for what it is, which is that in these situations, this went well, this didn't go well, this player performed well, this player didn't perform well. That's what Ben Johnson gets. So for you guys out there, if you're not following EPA stuff, I try to encourage you to do it more. All right, so we got a 0-2-1 here. Need to get some more receivers in. We did pass on DJ Moore technically before. We also could close out with Jalen Hurts here, but let's see what Johnny J.O. does here. We'll take Rome Odunze. Ben Johnson also, and some of the coach summit quotes there. I forgot what that actual day is called, but the coaches get together. They take their photos. They seemingly, some guys are getting drunk perhaps, and they do a lot of media stuff. Was talking also about Rome Odunze and DJ Moore and who's going to play the slot for this team, because he does feel, and I guess the question was also kind of leading about how important the slot role is for Ben Johnson teams and what he's done in the past. And basically they were talking a little bit more about how, like, who he's going to have in the slot. And he's like, I don't know. We're going to get out there. We're going to see once we're on the field who it is. But Odunze and Moore both can be a guy that gets that slot work. I think it's more likely to be DJ Moore. So we got Jalen Hurts and Burrow here. This is a tough call. Both would make a lot of sense. Receiver feels pretty good. Olave getting talked up by Kellen Moore a little bit. But I think I'm just going to take all the Philadelphia touchdowns here. The Jamar Chase drafter, though, didn't take Burrow either, right? So Burrow potentially could swing all the way back around here. At that point, I would consider a Jalen Hurts-Burrow duo. But as it is right now, we're just taking Philadelphia rushing touchdowns, so we're covered if the tush-push doesn't go away, and I guess we're covered if it does. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, again, a combo. I've gotten a little bit too much, especially for me that doesn't love wasting a ton of early RB capital. But I do feel like these are two guys that are going to make your roster more often than not, and obviously add on one more RB, and we feel like we're good about hitting the flex too. So Jalen Hurts with these two RBs, I feel good about that part. Receiver, Higgins and Rome Odunze. I feel okay about Higgins for the reasons we talked about. Odunze, I think a lot of hope for the offense being better. With the changes in the coaching staff there, and frankly, also the dedication of personnel, making the O-line better, really an important thing. And frankly, too, as much as I thought Keenan Allen was the best receiver in that room, and I think a lot of the data backs it out for the Bears last year, getting him out of there is also a positive for Moore and Odunze to make them kind of be forced into action more. So I'm happy taking Moore, happy taking Odunze, and we're going to do that. We'll do the latter part today. Mixon would have been a good addition to the dangerous team. That's true. I think this team right now is pretty dangerous, and we have two like really high-level RBs. Wide receiver going to have to hit a lot harder, but I think we can make it work. Getting Jalen Hurts at 50 with Saquon, I think we're dangerous. I think I'm giving dangerous airs right now. Chase Brown drafter could go Burrow, but has Allen. Yeah, that's also fair. Chase Brown too. I have to say I haven't taken more in drafts. I like his price tag in the mid-30s here at this point of things. Obviously, here he goes 39, even better. But frankly, with James Cook, the recent reports, which talked about in the Discord, basically James Cook, so Burrow goes 58 to the guy with Josh Allen, who has only one receiver. Tough start for the guy in the 10 hole, I feel like. I get it. I get what he's trying to do, and you don't want to let Burrow, honestly, push Burrow around the bend if you're really dead set on taking Burrow, but get a receiver in at this point. So James Cook put his Orchard Hills house on for sale. I've said it on stream. I've said it before in the Discord, especially. He's gonna hold out. Like, he thinks he's worth 13 mil a year. He's not technically worth it. He was pretty efficient, plus EPA rusher, plus EPA receiver. Still had some decent work in the red zone as well. I think got like 3 red zone opportunities a game in the run game. I can look that up. Not basketball. We don't look at basketball right now. Yeah, James Cook had. Yeah, right on the nose. 3 red zone rushes a game, 0.3 red zone targets a game. So pretty good red zone work. Like, he's a good player. I think he's a good draft pick if everything were fine at 38. But with the holdout stuff, like when I think we get to BBM, I would guess his holdout drags out because he just thinks he's worth more money than he is. Nobody's going to trade for him paying that money, especially with this rookie class coming in. And the longer he holds out, the more risky is that Ray Davis could be a bell cow back. Ty Johnson, we know, is a good change of pace back. He's back. So I think James Cook is in kind of a no-win situation, but he thinks he is deserving of payday, and I support him. Anybody getting this payday, we talked about a lulls yesterday. Whether you're a content creator or you're an okay Bills running back who's probably padded out by the fact that a defense has to pay a lot of attention to Josh Allen, you deserve to get paid, but like he's not worth what he thinks he's worth. So James Cook, to me, I would take Chase Brown over him personally. Marion Hampton at 44. Love Marion Hampton. Don't love that price tag for him. Najee Harris at 69. Saw him go 90 in a draft recently. Seems like he's got a pretty big swath of where he can go. I think his price tag's appropriate in the mid-70s. I don't think he should quite get up to this Alvin Kamara range for myself, but we'll see what happens. Ahead of David Montgomery, ahead of James Conner. All right, we have a 1-2-2-0 here. Don't really like George Pickens. Don't really love this spot, to be totally honest here. I mean, at this point, I guess we just take Pickens because we want to get a receiver in. Cooper Kupp, I do have a lot higher rank than market. Montgomery would not be a bad RB3, but let's just get another receiver in. Let's see what Johnny J.O. kicks back. I think he'll take David Montgomery. Pickens is dangerous, quite literally. He will choke you out if things align the right way. Oh, Shakir Nagbuka. All right, this guy is just spamming receiver. What is it, 2022? No, it's 2025 now. We take RBs plentifully. All right, we got 3 receivers at this point. I think Montgomery's not a bad pick here. I do worry about him obviously losing the workload more to Gibbs. Connor, same thing a little bit. I'm just going to take Montgomery here. Reed, Ayuk, Burden, Kupp, Golden, none of those guys really light my loins on fire here. I think if nothing else, David Montgomery still got touchdown upside for Detroit. He also has contingent value if Gibbs, something bad word happened for him. I think that's one thing Sacrilegious talked about a couple months ago. It stuck with me is like, we probably don't price in enough the contingent upside for guys into where they are. And for Montgomery, even if it goes down to like, let's say 70-30 share favoring Gibbs this year, just the fact that Gibbs could go out and it's Montgomery competing against whatever guy they might add in the draft, Sion Vaki, whatever they have there, it's not that good. I think Montgomery would be a lot more valuable. So we will take David Montgomery. Bad year for Pickens, sure. I don't know if it's a good thing for him to be in the situation he's in for his contract year or the year where he can start to get paid theoretically. Does Aaron Rodgers do anything worthwhile for Pickens? I really don't like the Pittsburgh spot, but like we talked about, kind of like the Cincinnati thing earlier in the video. I didn't like the Cincinnati spot last year because just what the team was. They ended up having a lot of great fantasy production. To the Jets, same thing there, but to a lesser extent where I didn't really like the Jets situation. Ended up being mostly right about that, but there were certainly some useful weeks, overall for the Jets offense. I don't want to throw guys out entirely, but like for Pittsburgh, for me, you bring in Aaron Rodgers and like you have 2 receivers that are pretty hot-headed, that want the ball, that are also not going to get the ball as much in an Arthur Smith offense anyway. I don't think it's a great situation. So I don't think that Aaron Rodgers makes it better. I don't think Mason Rudolph starting makes it better either. I just don't think the configuration is right for that team. So I don't love it, but I'll take Metcalf as a one-off. I'll take Pickens as a one-off because like they could still spike in the playoff weeks. Like that's all it is. See the new OC wanting to use Gibbs more, even though he's an internal hire. I mean, that's the thing is like every hire this year is a former passing game coordinator, which is kind of odd, like our passing game coordinator getting promoted with the team. I was actually doing some research on that and basically historically, and this is not like perfect science, but I thought it was enough of a sample size here. And frankly, we might be able to get the Google AI answer here fast. Passing game coordinators promoted to OC or head coach. So I think the Google AI might give us a good overview here. So here's everyone for this year. But you go through like the Eagles guy, Patullo, Josh Griswold for the Bucks, Thomas Brown for the Bears. There's a better list that I had before. There was like a historical list I had, and basically if you go through the annals of time, and you can do this work on your own, unfortunately I just didn't write it up. It was something I was more reading for my own edification. A lot of pass game coordinators who become coaches, whether they be an OC or a head coach, tend to be more of a pass-dominant offense, which isn't a surprise when you hear the game title passing game coordinator. That doesn't mean like, you're in charge of the offense being this high-octane, gunslinging offense. But the fact that there's a lot of pass game coordinators being promoted this year to OC makes me think we're going to see more of that stuff. Whereas opposed to like, the Cowboys hired the guy who's coming as a tight end coach. Was it Clayton sorry, I still have to get all the new OC names aligned in my head because there's a lot of dudes, not as many nepotism hires. Clayton Adams, that's it. So he was a tight end coach. Tight end coaches historically tend to be a little more run dominant. I guess the best version of that would be like a Brian Dable, who was previously a tight ends coach, ended up moving up the food chain to OC. Now, obviously, been the Giants coach for a few years. So, like, I think for the most part, we're getting coaches that are getting promoted that are going to be, pass friendly, willing to do that more. So, like, the Gibbs thing, you could maybe get more pass game work for Detroit because Morton's a former pass game coordinator. The Texans took a guy who was a tight end coach and a passing game coordinator. So a little bit different there. But Nick Caley, I think his name is. But he has done both roles before. Nick Caley. Yeah, see, he was hired as tight ends coach 2024 out of the title of pass game coordinator. So that's really the important thing here is like pass game coordinator. Pass game coordinator should mean for these teams improvements on offense to the pass game, which again sounds really fucking juvenile when you say it, but it's not just because the title is that. It's just because like that's what these guys tend to bring to an offense. So that's my observation. Obviously, follow your heart. Love seeing you on Pete Overzet's pod. Spags, about your story. Good luck this year in all your best ball bags. Thank you, Kendrick. I appreciate it. Kendrick, honestly, your support does go a long way for me as one of the nicest guys, and I think on the internet, let alone on this channel. So I appreciate you being here. And Team 10 throwing away $10. Yeah, 3 QBs, 1 receiver. And this is a red badge. And we've talked about it before, and it's not to besmirch anybody. If this guy's in the draft, like, don't pop in the chat butthurt, like, oh, well, what do you know? Like, it's just not good drafting. Like, just because weird things won last year doesn't mean you could go and draft 3 QBs unstacked. I mean, Nico Collins, your receiver. Like, what is going on here? It's just not. It's not a good team. You're burning your money, but you said it first. Whatever. Better than the guy who ruined the draft yesterday for Davis and me, and inadvertently me hopping on a Davis stream. Are we all idiots for taking Tet Golden Burden ahead of Travis Hunter? Starting to get pissed myself. No, you're not an idiot. There's downside risk that he just doesn't play enough receiver. You have to keep in mind that volume, routes, time on the field is the most important thing. We learn that lesson every year. RBs being on the field for a good amount of snaps, increasing their chances of getting touches, getting targets. Like, you have to thread the needle for what the true upside is. There's a downside for him no matter who takes him in the top 5. Like, he might not play enough at receiver. So no, he's correctly priced. Take more there if you want. That's it. Let's see. Dear McBride, MHJ drafter, you let Connor fall to Go AZ Cards. Murray, he's good. He sniped them on his players that he wanted so bad. But he took McBride early, took Harrison early. At that point, you might as well just take Kyler Murray, even though you shouldn't have done either of those things early in the first place. Travis Hunter now going at 94. It's too lofty of a price tag. I think he will politic his way to playing on both sides, but I just don't think that's the move. Baker Mayfield theoretically would correlate with Bucky here. We need some more receiver firepower. Let's change the order of operations here. I'm okay with Jalen McMillan. And if Baker comes back, we'll take him potentially. If he doesn't come back, I'll take one of the receivers and feel okay about it. Big tight end backlog here as well. Really feels like some of the interviews this week with Shane Steichen, Tyler Warren seems like he's real high on the Colts list. Like, there was a real glib quote from him about like some guy asking about taking tight ends and how they're going to use them and whatever. And he's like, well, like, I don't know if we're going to take one. Ha, 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 ha. And it's like very clearly telegraphing they're going to take a tight end. It's a little bit odd. All right. So I think we need the 5th receiver more than we need Baker Mayfield. I do think a Baker, Jalen Hurts team is pretty good, especially 11 pick discount on Baker. I think let's just do it. We got Bucky. We got McMillan. We're going to stack it up here theoretically. So a 2-3-4-0. Did not get to our 5 receivers through pick 100, which is still a general goalpost to try to hit, even with 2025 drafting being a little more, you want to get some more RBs in. You're more comfortable taking RBs. At least I am. Would say at this point, still want to get that receiver in before 100, but we'll get wide receiver 5. soon enough. So we got Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield as our QBs. At RB, Saquon and Bucky. Again, a combo I'm probably taking too much when I get in the spot, but I feel really cozy with it. And I don't think the general public does. I don't think the public in general loves Bucky as much as I do, even though he's holding at that spot. So I could be wrong. David Montgomery, got a little discount on him as well. Feel good about that. T. Higgins, slight discount. Roma Dunze, basically at ADP. Pickens, slight discount. Jalen McMillan at ADP. It's a nice start. Got to make sure I get my depth at receiver, though, because I think we're pretty good at RB at this point. Do you have any take on the Cowboys' run game? Is Javonte worth taking? He's worth taking relatively, but they just said this week that they're pretty high on taking him back somewhere in the class. I think more likely taking them later on in the draft. I think any back you're going to bring in this class is going to be better than Javonte, better than Miles Sanders. It doesn't mean that, a Brian Schottenheimer helm team can't boomer their way to the worst possible take at what to do at RB. But it does mean to me that you have a real risk that those guys are just really overpriced at ADP right now for anybody who can come in. And I've felt for a while and I don't think they'll pay this draft capital. They've been pretty clear they want to build from the outside in. Take an edge rusher, take a cornerback, take a receiver early on. I think potentially is a way. They made it sound this week with that first pick. But Omarion Hampton feels like a really natural fit for them. Them trading up to get him back half of the first round. If he falls to the second, I could see that. But even if they get RJ Harvey, DJ Giddens, any of those assholes, they're probably a better player than Javonte is. Probably a better player as well than I would say almost definitely a better player than Miles Sanders is. And certainly you or I are a better player than Deuce Vaughn is. So there's really nothing there that's stopping you from those guys falling precipitously. So I don't know. Can't get there with McMillan. Too expensive for me. Clear wide receiver 3. You got there on TDs, not a lot of yards. I don't think that's correct. It was it's his rookie year. He's going to be better in year 2. B, the fact that he showed he was a reliable target earner when we had Evans go down, when we had Godwin go down, I think is the main thing here. And the other part of it is that you're now going to have receivers going to command a lot of attention. I think his touchdown equity is going to potentially be even higher. I agree the upside is definitely not as high as it would be if Godwin weren't returning. And he is kind of holding on ADP-wise to that price tag from where he was, where he's going in the 80s, I think sometimes even the 70s when Godwin wasn't signed yet. I thought Godwin was coming back the entire time, and I was still okay with that price tag from McMillan because he showed he's got 2 touchdowns in the game upside. He's got, as he advances more and can get those deep balls that he didn't connect with Baker quite as much on last year, he's got 50-yard TD upside. I think you're looking more for the single game upside than anything. Only room for one Mick wide receiver on Adams teams. Yes, every Georgia player, but you only have one guy with a Mick on their name. And sure, happy to help. Of course, hey, Mr. Poopy Butthole, anything for you as always. Javonte had value at 180 190, hard to stomach in the range. You could have Benson, potential bell cow, Ray Davis, Jerome Ford, Rico, etc. I agree with that. It's a good take by D. Owens. Yeah, I like the price tag's really high, and we just know what he is at this point. Let's go to Javonte's numbers real fast. Javonte last year, 13% avoided tackle rate, so really nothing special there. Negative 0.16 EPA per rush, not very good. Negative 0.05 EPA per target, not very good. Got 1.8 red zone rushes a game, which is more the teams trusted him to give him the ball there. But we're not talking about crazy volume either. There were times where they put Audric Estime in the goal line at the end of the season over him. So I just don't think Javonte is a lock to earn anything. Frankly, with his contract and Miles Sanders as well, they both are cut candidates as well. If there's another, if one of these rookies, if they get 2 rookies somehow in this draft and those guys are instantly better and have a lot more juice, which a lot of these guys athletically should have more juice the moment they're on the field. Dylan Sampson, who I don't really like very much, is better than Javonte and Miles. And that's with him, coming from a Mickey Mouse kind of offense where guys are spread out. There's nobody in the box. He's got the tools to hop in and be better than those guys immediately. Every RB I don't even like, I would take over Javonte and Miles personally. On takes a hit if all wide receivers are healthy. Yeah, but he wasn't ever really that great of a play. He just was great during that run where everybody was out. I think he's mostly just a player that you take a tight end and hope he's giving you 5 to 8 points at a given week. And if he scores a touchdown, great. He might make your roster and actually give you a boost over other teams. K-Dot, though, not a priority for me by any stretch. But yeah, contingent value for sure. We got some picks coming up. Guys, if you get some value out of this video, of course, I am doing drafts here right now every Friday after the big board closes, and we're into BBM season. It'll be every day on this channel, Monday to Friday. At, I think 3 p.m. is time I'm going to go with. So I have some, a little bit of flexibility there in case I have to do a 5 p.m. stream for Stochastic. But please subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. It all goes a long way for me here. You'll see me make my pick in a moment. Wow, McCarthy at 118. This guy is just fucking going all over the place, man. I like Marvin Mims more than I think some people do. I think he's got upside in the Denver offense. That's me. Came together really well down the home stretch. So I'm going to add him here. Boom bust player for sure. But I'm hoping we have a little bit more projection with our top two. And now we're just taking guys that could spike with Pickens, McMillan, Mims. All right, here we got, I do like Tucker Kraft here. Keon Coleman in year 2 should be better. Clearing Amari Cooper out will be helpful for him. I like Trey Harris, but I don't know that I like him that far ahead of ADP. I think Keon Coleman, wide receiver 6, we got to make it up at wide receiver a little here. And Coleman is still an end zone target, still a guy that could be better. In year 1 for him, I think he was plus EPA. He actually had a 0.29 EPA per target. That's not bad. 19% target per out run is pretty bad, but 1.5 deep targets a game, 0.8 red zone targets a game, that can grow, that can build. I think with them bringing in Josh Palmer, who to me is like a very Khalil Shakir kind of receiver, they do things that are much more refined, much more potentially targeting than Keon Coleman. But Keon Coleman's got the size and athletic ability and the red zone kind of go get him ability that he showed at FSU. Like those guys don't have that. So I think there's still room for Keon Coleman to succeed in this offense, and getting him at 122, I feel pretty okay about. Mims was really high yards per route run. Mims was a 30% target per route run guy, but was only running 20. Wait, is that right? No, that can't be right. He only ran 11 routes per game. That's really low. I mean, they fed him the ball when he was out there. He was out there to get a target, but that's not very good. His yards per route run was 2.9. So you're talking about Justin Jefferson is at, actually, no, hold on. It's Jamar Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's at 2.6. So obviously it's a lot of volume going Jefferson's way, but yeah, Mims really efficient. That's his game, though. Like, that was his game in college. Like, he stood out to me at Oklahoma last year as well, because he was one of very few outside receivers. Is this guy just, like, only taking receivers? Oh, no, this guy's now. Okay, never mind. I was thinking it was the other guy who was spamming receiver, but now our guy who only took RBs and Nico Collins in the first 8 rounds is now spamming receivers. So he's trying to make it up, I guess. So maybe this guy not a total donkey he's still probably mostly a donkey. Anyway, for Mims, yes, very efficient, commanded targets at a really high rate for a guy who didn't play a ton, but he started to get more volume at the end of the year, so I'm more okay with Mims than not. That's how I feel about it. But Cincinnati was also being fed Mickey Mouse RB checkdowns. Oh, Mims? Yeah, look, I mean, I think Mims had interesting work down the home stretch, but I agree the lack of volume over the course of an entire year is maybe not a great thing. But he's been good in these limited opportunity situations enough. I mean, honestly, for people taking Travis Hunter, you're kind of hoping he's not the same player as Mims, but you're kind of hoping for a Mims run out where it's like he gets less work, but when he's out there, he's getting like real targets going his way that are meant to be kind of gangbusters plays that can, splash plays, even some could say. I think Mims fits for me, but I get it. Frankly, I think Coleman, you can make the case, should be a higher ADP guy than Mims. Because like Coleman to me is like a legit receiver that fills a need for a team. But that's that. So the guy who took the 3Q, this is, again, really a weird team where like if he didn't take the 3rd QB, took a receiver here, maybe took another receiver instead of Aaron Jones, just started this run earlier, I'd be more on board. But he is trying to do it the right way of digging out here. If you do really underweight a position, you got to then spam the position at some point. So he's doing it. So I'll say an interesting team for Woo Doggy here, even though not the way I would recommend you draft or I draft or anybody we love or care about draft. But guys I don't know on the internet, sure. Travioli sniping Dallas Goedert. Love to have him in rooms. Glad he's in every stream room out there. But that's okay. Goddard was at his ADP. What are we going to do? An unstacked Jalen Hurts it is for us. The stack is Saquon Barkley. That's the stack. But I figured that would be my first tight end coming back because usually people don't want to take Dallas Goedert unstacked, but not in this room. When Hunter and Mims were next to each other, I'd much rather 15. Okay. Sure. I think that's fair. I mean, the thing is, like, Travis Hunter is an elite target earner. And again, like I've said a lot of times in the stream, he's not just like a slot donkey like people made him out to be, where they're like, well, yeah, he'll be your starting quarterback and you play him 15 routes out of the slot and he's gonna be really good. It's like, no, he's an out wide receiver. He's gonna be more like with the usage, if they're playing him full-time at cornerback, you're probably looking at a run out of routes, kind of like a Quentin Johnston, but like he'll be better than Quentin Johnston is. That's fine. 2360. I mean, QB here doesn't really make sense, obviously, for us, but that's a big value on Dak. Benson, I don't mind adding in an RB. Rico, I don't mind. Dobbs, I wouldn't mind either for more projectable volume. I'm actually going to go Dobbs here. I got to take tight end at some point, but I feel pretty comfortable spamming tight end. Later on in the draft, where we know we'll have some guys, your Juwan Johnson, your Higbee tier, I can live in that tier. Do you like Benson, though? I think that Benson would have been a nice pick. Kyle Pitts, really, I think he'll be better with Penix in year 2. But I think we could be done at RB or feel pretty close to done here. I like Rico here, as we've talked about a little bit. Chuba last year was a player that was on enough of my teams where I certainly got the benefit from him. He was on some of my finalist teams as well. I have no real issue with Chuba, but looking through his numbers from last year, he just wasn't as great of a player that seems like he should be able to defend the volume he got, unless it's just that he has a trust of the coach in like a way that nobody can fight off. But a 0.01 EPA per rush, which is okay. A negative 0.4 EPA per target. So effectively really not adding value, not being helpful in the pass game. Avoided tackle rate of 15%. That's just kind of a guy. As we talked about, my data sheets are all color-coded. So like average is yellow. He's just flat yellow for me. Got great red zone work with the 3 red zone touches a game he got, red zone rushes per game he got, and 0.7 red zone targets he got per game. But you're talking about a guy not getting a great avoided tackle rate, a guy who also 20% target per out run guy, like just an average RB for the most part. I think Rico is very much a threat to kind of take some of that work. Rico last year playing for, I would say, a similarly bad team, a negative 0.02 EPA per rush, so not quite as efficient, barely better avoided tackle rate at 16%, 22% target per out run. Not as good red zone work for him, only 1.6 red zone intended rushes a game. But like these guys are pretty similar is really the main point for me. And I think it's possible that Rico has more upside potentially as a player. To me, that's really the main thing for Rico at this point. Like they just shouldn't be priced 90 spots away from each other, especially when Dave Canales has said like he expects to be a timeshare hot hand situation. And they didn't pay Chuba really much more than Rico practically, even though Chuba got that new deal. Got to rewatch later. Peace and love on an Underdog detox clinic. All right. Well, hey, there you go. I don't know about fuck them. We're not in the fuck them period. We're in the promo code splash period of Underdog. But please, yes, gamble responsibly always. Whatever. Keep your mental health aligned. It's always a thing. Uncertainty creates value. Hunter would be going much higher if he was listed as wide receiver instead of cornerback. Maybe some wide receiver routes. It's still a thing, though, where he's all right. So the range he's going in right now, like you had to pass up here. You're taking him at 94 like this guy. This guy has reached a little bit. I don't think he's right now, to me, a more secure play, a better play than Jalen McMillan. I don't think he's a better, more secure play than Christian Kirk. Diggs, I'm not sold on Diggs at all. He's come up so much. I really don't even want to move him up in my rankings. I just don't think. I think he starts here in the pup list. I think they're bullshitting right now about him being ready week 1. He's too old. It's not possible. He wasn't that good last year anyway. But anyway, him being ahead of Hunter, like he got a huge deal from New England, so he should be ahead of Hunter. Mooney with a Penix offense should be ahead of Hunter. Bateman, I would still stay ahead of Hunter. Pittman, Rashid Shaheed shouldn't have gone at 111. He should be ahead of Hunter. I just don't think Hunter is like locked into the opportunity that you want him to have. I can't be more clear that I think he's a great talent, but like you're passing up players who are also great talents who have reasons that they could go, could spike frequently. Like Shaheed was really good last year while not playing that efficiently in an offense that wasn't that well schemed. He just got good volume, a lot of downfield targets, whatever, and he made him count. This year, he's getting Kellen Moore, the full glow up there. Like, I think that he's going to be in a much better situation. So I'd rather take the shot on that than a guy who is going to be spending. Like, the thing too is it's not just a matter of playing time on both sides of the ball. It's the practice time the entire week. It's your ability to earn yourself onto the field, to earn the high quality targets, to earn high quality routes. And if he's not playing with the offense for half the week, if he's not playing with the offense for the entire week, for the most part, you're not going to get that opportunity right. So I don't think there's really a correct ADP right now. Yeah, if he doesn't play cornerback, but he has to play cornerback. That's where most of the value from him will come, is playing cornerback. I mean, people don't grasp that he's an elite receiver, and because you can play cornerback well, that's a unique enough skill. He has to play enough cornerback snaps that he can't. I don't know. It doesn't work that way in football. I think people are viewing it in this like weird utopian world, and like you read articles about it. It's like practically hard to have a guy play both sides of the ball because like you're specializing on the side of the field at the same time those practices are going on. So that's that. Pitts came all the way back around. I would have taken him at that last spot. So Kyle Pitts at 167. That's an easy click. I don't even care if K. Dotton correlates more. Pitts 20 spots after ADP. That shouldn't happen. There's so many tight ends on the board. What the fuck happened here? You keep saying the same thing, Adam, and you're not really making a point. You're just saying the same fucking thing. The point is that he shouldn't be priced at 94 around guys who are going to play a full route tree. Like, that's the whole thing. When he starts going around guys where there's questions about the route tree, that he should be the top of that. But like, I don't agree with him. I don't agree with the ADP at all. Especially in a time, like not a time box tournament, but in a tournament where he was going 150 at one point. I don't think you steam him up to 90 now. I think that's not correct. I think Adam should stick to touting Georgia players in every stream across the industry. I watched 3 different streams of people this week, and Adam was talking up Georgia players in every stream and going, this lad McConkey's going to have a great year. This Brock, it's like a bit that like I'm subjected to without him even knowing I'm subjected to it. We could argue that even if he gets drafted as wide receiver in the draft, he'll settle in the 55-70 range. Like, but that's not going to happen though. It's not going to happen. It's like, that's the main thing. Like, they're going to play him some amount at corner, and the practice time pulls from each other. So it's hard to get that full run out. And I'm the person who said on stream, by the way, that like, I think him advocating to play both sides of the ball is important. Him going like, I want to be Ohtani. Like, those are important things for him to politic to get some work at receiver, but some work is sort of the main thing, not all the work. And you're talking about guys who are going to get all the work in that range. So that's that. So actually, I crack open a beer. If you're on the East Coast, yes. If you're on the West Coast, unless you're off and you're really being a piece of shit today, I would say no. But it's 11:40 right now on the East Coast, for the record, if you're watching the stream later on. So I would err on the side of, yeah, sure, on Friday on the East Coast, you don't have a ton of work. Knock yourself out if you're a respectable adult. West Coast, I would say we're teetering on having a problem. Okay, then go for it. It's a warm enough day too. Feels like a good beer day. I've not been having a lot of beer lately. That's been one thing I've cut back a little bit on the new year. Apparently, also, my wife has told me that I snore more on beer days, which makes sense given, again, having some IPAs, having some 10%ers. That'll happen, but it's not the reason why I'm not drinking beers so much. But it's, it doesn't hurt, I guess. Be more considerate. In the office, only 2 beers for me in the morning. That's right. Drinking them in your car so your hands stop shaking. That's the goal. Agreed. People do not understand the practice schedule. Listen to former players talk about the absurdity or how absurdly they feel people are underestimating the difficulty. I agree. Look, there's an Athletic article that I read about at some point about Travis Hunter specifically. And like, they had front office people, coaching people, off the record talking about why it'd be a difficult thing for them to accomplish. That's it for me. I think that's what we're missing right now. Talent-wise, yes, Travis Hunter. If we're just saying talent and he's going to play as much as Ted McMillan does, put him right next to Ted McMillan. Put him ahead of him. I don't care. But with what the situation is, you're taking on a lot of risk going top 100. That's it. Dude's about to play with 2 of the hardest positions in the NFL, probably in a bad team while trying to build rapport with his QB. Yes. And honestly, I mean, I guess he's probably not going to New England now. Seems more likely to go to the Giants. If he goes to the Giants, he's going to be just cornerback Jalen Hyatt. Like, and I know people don't want to hear that. He'll be better than Jalen Hyatt, but he's going to be cornerback Jalen Hyatt. And it seems to me most likely he does go to the Giants at this point. Because you're still going to have Slayton there. There's paid Slayton big money. So, like, I don't know, man. If he goes to New England, great. What, you're getting him in the Drake May offense? It's not going to pass too well, too effectively, too often. I don't see either. Look, and I like the guy. You guys are making me talk down on the guy. Where do I see this? Looks like Seducer. Where do I see Seducer landing? Where do I see Shador landing? I think it'll be somebody in the back half of the first round who was a team that needed a QB early on but didn't want to take him up top, trading up and getting him. I don't think it's the Giants. I don't think you add Jameson, Russell Wilson, and you plan to take a third QB who should be able to see the field theoretically in year one. So I think they're out. Pittsburgh would be the most live to me, especially if they don't sign Rodgers over the next couple weeks. That situation still seems weird to me as well. Browns, I would say definitely a possibility. But the Browns, I think, looking more like a dart team. If Tyler's in the chat, he'll remember better offhand. There was a report about Jackson Dart's pro day, and Daniel Jeremiah had specifically highlighted Cleveland, New Orleans, and I think maybe the Giants as teams where, like, he was saying those are the ones to watch for coming up to get Dart. I think that's more likely. Anyway, 2472. Need more at tight end. And I like having the Cincinnati stack without the QB. Like, I can live with that. So I am going to go Mike Gesicki here for tight end 3. Frankly, it doesn't take me out of the tight end 4 picture either. I could add on 5 tight ends here and not feel bad about the team right now. I like how the team rounded out. I think adding some more receiver here. They can take some late. There's some late guys we can hit. Cleveland, New Orleans, Pittsburgh. That's it. Okay, Pittsburgh. Yeah, not the Giants again. So Pittsburgh I would hate for Jackson Dart, even though I think he would do really well in an Arthur Smith offense, just forcing downfield a little bit. And we got a 2-4-7-3. I mean, no disrespect whatsoever to Field Yates. I would not take his reporting remotely credibly. I don't know the guy, but, like, he's not a reporter. He's one of those guys that, like, now does fake reporting a little bit because you're working at ESPN and you've been public enough. I would not buy that for a moment. All right, 2-4-7-3 here. I wouldn't feel bad about Marshawn Lloyd. I do think I could add on another tight end and feel okay about it too. But I'm going to go Darius Slayton. I think adding some more value here against Slayton, getting a big deal, no matter what, getting a QB upgrade. Slayton to me as wide receiver 8 in a 2-4-8-3 build. I'm very comfortable with that. So let's give the team a read here. We got a little bit of a while before our picks come back around. We got Jalen Hurts unstacked, unfortunately, besides Saquon. So that is a stack. We are consolidating Philadelphia rushing touchdowns and passing touchdowns theoretically. Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Saquon, Bucky. So 2 QB RB stacks. David Montgomery, Rico Dowdle. We got T. Higgins, Romo Dunze, George Pickens, Jalen McMillan, Marvin Mims, Keon Coleman, Romeo Dobbs, Darius Slayton. So look, not as stacky of a team as I would like. That we do have a Tampa Bay double, I guess triple, including Bucky. Kyle Pitts, Cade Otton, Mike Gesicki. I like the players we got. I don't think it's as Marie Kondo feng shui, aligning everything perfectly for the stacks and, you know, eventually week 17 correlation like we'll do. But I like these teams for the big board, right? We got players with good values, got good balance, took some RBs early on. We're going to be good. Thank you, Matthew. Matthew always pumping my bags. I appreciate it. Field Yates is Dr. B if Schefter and Rapp are Dr. Pepper. That's funny. That's a good one. What are the other bootleg Dr. Pepper brands? There's like some other silly one. Bootleg Mr. Pibb, I feel like is another one. Or is that different? Oh, here we go. All right, we got Pibb Extra, a Western Family Dr. something, Dr. Pop, Dr. Shasta. Why do they all have to be doctors? Like, can we have like a civilian who didn't get his medical degree give me a shitty, spicy fucking drink? What is it even? It's like a cinnamon soda. Like, I hate Dr. Pepper. I'm not a Dr. Pepper guy. Though I do think a lot of characters that seem fun in movies do drink Dr. Pepper, like the like surly cops drink Dr. Pepper. That's that. Mr. Pibb. You guys like Mr. Pibb? All right. Whatever Shasta. It's Dr. Shasta. Also, so I hear our lawn guys, we have guys who come to mow the lawn every week because I don't have a lawnmower, and if God forbid, I wouldn't trust me to do it. And they just texted me last night like, hey, we're starting up tomorrow. And I'm like, what, I get no fucking say in this? Like, I just have to pay you when you decide to start mowing lawns. But anyway, they're mowing the lawn out there. So that's that. As a native Texan, that's the thing. It's a lot of like Southern cops, I feel like, in movies. State troopers, like in Texas and other areas of the South. Dublin Dr. Pepper. I don't even know what that is. Hate all caramel colored soda. Isn't that every soda for the most part? Like Coke's a caramel colored soda. I'm team Diet Coke. I actually learned recently that my wife, Alex, is like, prefers Coke Zero, which is fucking insane given that she has stolen my Diet Coke since like back when we first started dating. She would take them out of my fridge or whatever. Or if I'm drinking one, she would like demand it. So insane for that. Like Coke Zero and Diet Coke are just two different experiences. Coke Zero is just like Coke, which like I get that taste. I prefer the Diet Coke taste. Like give me chemicals. I want I want drugs and I want chemicals and I want them in equal parts. Yeah, just don't have the palate for Dr. Pepper. Sword Squad, I just posted a selfie because I'm feeling really good today out of the shower. I feel huge. Okay, all right, Tyler. I see what you want here. Let's go on. Oh, here we go. Coincidental one here. Cornerback wide receiver Travis Hunter will run routes at his pro day. Who would have believed that? All right, emo cowboy. Here we go. Let's see Tyler's selfie. Ooh, okay. Here, let's read it. Let's make fun of Tyler here. First week of cut complete. 3 months of bulk and shoulder rehab went really well, and we're back to our previous personal best. Feeling really good in the gym. Draft season's off to a hot start. Buckling up, bitches. Respectfully. All right, looking svelte though. I gave you the Valley Girl voice, but looking good. Yeah, look at hourglass shape. There we go. Just I got you. I get you. I might have boomed you a little. I don't know. Man, check out that Tyler. You save a lot. Well, you lose weight fast. You're getting Eiffel Towered as often as you are. You're like Jeremy Strong in the Trump movie. They won't let you stay in the hotel in the movie. You're getting too tender, too tiny. It makes the other hotel guests uncomfortable. How quickly you're losing the weight. It's 2483. All right, we got. There we go. Sanders goes. We'll get him here. This is an ugly spot in the draft. Again, I'm comfortable taking the 4th tight end here. Feel okay about that. Chig, Theo. I mean, we took this. I've been taking a good amount of Theo. I'll get more Chig. I think Chig is getting the Cam Ward glow up. I call things glow up too much too. I might be the Tyler character. He's getting the Cam Ward glow up today. And then let's add one more player on here. Let's see what this character does next to me. As we talked about a good amount, my bailouts here, late athletic receivers late athletic receivers is basically it. Ty Felton being one of them. Saquon Williams, big enough though, not a freak athlete like Felton is. Torrey Horton, another one. So if you want some free names to take, Tez Johnson, great college producer, but really did not test enough athletically well enough to get there. All right. Come on. Well, they fine Morant for doing the finger guns again if they tell them we're not going to fine you for the finger guns, which is a pretty tough scene. They can't tell you don't do finger guns and you do finger guns again. And they're like, oh, we got to be responsible because kids are like going to kill each other out there over it. I don't know. He's just an asshole at that point. Honestly, Eli Mitchell here for RB5. I don't really know that we need an RB5. And I could take one of the freak athletes, but I'm okay at receiver. So this is going to be the final look here at the team. Of course, we're going to do another draft, so stay tuned here. You'll see it on screen, so you can join with me. We got Jalen Hurts and Baker Mayfield, Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, David Montgomery, Rico Dowdle, Elijah Mitchell here, our new KC running back, who should be the better version of Kareem Hunt as long as he can stay healthy. T. Higgins, Romo Dunze, George Pickens, Jalen McMillan, Marvin Mims, Keon Coleman, Romeo Dobbs, Darius Slayton. And I think you do need a 4th tight end with this build. These are guys who I don't expect to have regular production. Like Gesicki won't even be on the field some weeks. We need to have a blocking tight end in. But we got Kyle Pitts, K. Dotton, Mike Gesicki, Chikakonkwo. A bunch of guys who in most weeks will have like an 8 fantasy point projection. To me, that makes it at the very least a 3 tight end room. But in a 20-round draft where I feel pretty good about my depth, I think it makes it a 4 tight end day for me. But let's go. Another team going on here. Sorry, the guy's still picking. You can keep drafting. We got to click the NFL button first. That would help. Big board draft here. Of course, $250K to first place. And if you are new to the world of Underdog, please do use that promo code SPLASH. Link in the description down below. $1,000 deposit bonus. Free pick 'em as well if you're going to pick 'em state. And then all goes to support the show here. We got to hit some insane signups this year. Just talked about on Lulz yesterday a little bit, but I'll tell you more real here. We got to fucking get a lot of new people on board here. So I'm going to be doing some different stuff this year, but in particular, if you've been on these streams for years, haven't played an Underdog, please do join me on there. Use that promo code SPLASH. And let's get in here. All right, 4 people left in this draft. Shout out Tyler, gifted a membership. Brave of him to do that. But also I love Tyler. And I love Tyler too, that I can make AIDS jokes about him. And I know he won't get offended. Let's see. Ja doesn't seem the smartest. The thing is, like, he is a little bit smarter than he seems. He went to private school. Did he pay attention to it? Probably not. But he's just gone the wrong way. Like, Memphis is like a tough city. And I think he has now felt like he needs to toughen up there and like be more of that type. I actually am kind of the person that comments on it because I grew up in the South Bronx. I grew up with a lot of people like Ja. And frankly, when I was a little kid, or like a younger kid pre-puberty, there were pressures on me to like go do shit that I was not really like meant to be doing. That happened. So I don't want to be the one to break him down mentally or psychologically, but he's an idiot. he does one ops. He went after like a teen in the mall at one point, like really stupid. We still got 1 spot left, guys. If you want to get in, please do that. Let's see. Oh, who got the membership? I can't see that on StreamYard, unfortunately. But shout out all the members here. And if you are a member, make sure you are on the Discord. Just sync your YouTube to your Discord. Click the link in the description down below, and it'll get you in that process. And if you are not a member of the Discord, hop in there. It's really the only place right now. At a certain point, I unfortunately do have to go back on Twitter and do that shit again, I think, just to promote myself better and promote the content better. But for you guys out there, really, the Discord is going to be the place I put most of my takes that actually have value, because I just don't want to, again, I said it on Lulz yesterday. I don't like talking to idiots. I don't like funding Elon Musk's big stupid head. I don't want any part of it, really. Adam S. Okay, new Adam. Good. New Adam got it. Shout out new Adam. Is that even one of the Adams we know? I mean, shout out Adam S. There actually was a point that Adam was paying. I know that. But then I was mean to Adam and he stopped paying. So that's on me. I cost myself the $250 post YouTube's cut. Also, people you hang around with. I'm from New York too. Take a guess. Your number one bestie did. Take a guess. Where you're from in New York? I mean, where I'm from in New York, I'm from the South Bronx. I grew up in Parkchester. If anybody out there knows that area, which I think is now getting a little more gentrified. I haven't been back in a few years. Well, when we sold our house, or when my family sold our house after I went to college, it's being overrun. It was being like re-gentrified for Muslim people because there was a temple nearby. I don't know. Bronx, when I was growing up, was not a good place. I grew up across the street from a burnt down crack house. So things you wouldn't know looking at me. We got Jahmyr Gibbs coming up here. I haven't taken a lot of Gibbs, but in a spot where the next pick is Nico, I don't take CeeDee Lamb in the spot. I'll go Gibbs here. Another RB start. I think we built a dangerous first team, so we'll build a dangerous Gibbs team here, hopefully. Shout out Christopher being here. Appreciate it. Gentrified Muslim. I mean, look, it was legit a thing where like they moved in. They I think the one who bought from my grandparents offered all cash for the house too, because like they were just trying to get close to the temple, the mosque, whatever, opening up. So yeah, more power to him. RB Friday. Yeah, used to be 0 RB Fridays. Now it's like plentiful RB Fridays on Splash Play. I can't help, that I've adapted to ADPs brilliantly. It's just who I am. But no, like I like the RBs this year. Like that's really the thing for me. And I think too, my takeaway from last year is that it is more about your draft capital allotment, making sure you have guys with real roles and then getting enough volume if you're not taking, the premium players. So I'm trying to be more mindful of that. It's what I observe through my portfolio. And I think for any of us out there, look, I will still have the most fun spamming receivers for 6 rounds. But frankly, like, do I want to take CeeDee Lamb over an RB I think is actually really good? No, I don't. I personally don't. Was it like the Bronx Sale movie? No, because not Italian people at that point, really. Earlier, I think when my family first moved in, it was more like that in the Bronx. American Gangster would be more appropriate, yeah. My neighborhood is entirely, like, growing up, it was all Black and Latino people. So I'm like, fractional amount Puerto Rican on my dad's side. So I was like, when I was a younger kid, especially in puberty, I was like really Puerto Rican Because like I would just like because you just got to fit in. Like it was bad enough like being lighter skin generally. And again, not to make any indoctrination or anything. That's just the reality of it. We won 4 RBs by round 5. I don't know how that would work. Adam's won memberships before, so you're not wrong. I do like you calling bad Adam though. It's like I previously thought it was just the Rocks movie that was the only bad Adam out there, the Black Adam film, but no. Bad Adam. I like old Adam better. I wouldn't call him bad Adam. All right, so we got an RB corner here. McCaffrey, Achane, Henry, Taylor. Not taking Genty. So it looks like we got maybe some boomer mindset here on the turn. Why don't we push, maybe guys, if you don't want Genty, push him all the way back here. A Gibbs Genty start would be real dangerous. That'd be real fun. Maybe there was some article, I think it was actually our friend Sports Info Solutions this week. Tyler linked me in the Discord, wrote an article kind of writing up some of the negative aspects of Genty and why they feel like maybe he's not as great of an RB as like everybody's kind of crowning him already. I would tend to disagree. I think he's as good of a prospect as the guys we've had in recent years or Bijan's. I mean, that's really the biggest one we've had. Saquon, I think, was a better prospect to me in hindsight, but whatever. Genty goes 17, though, anyway, so I don't need to make the case for him. Let's see what this No Demon. Tyreek Hill. I've got Drake London ranked at 12, so yeah, we'll take Drake London at pick 20. What would justify Drake London coming down? I know we like Lad. If we love Ladham. Here we go. We love Lad here, I suppose. Drake London shouldn't go behind Lad. I don't believe that, especially with how Penix used him down the home stretch. He became a true alpha. We saw Drake London spike real tournament winning days multiple times last year for the first time. I strongly believe that Drake London should be going over here and not where he went. I also strongly believe Tyreek Hill shouldn't be going at 19. But this guy, I don't know, Demon's just taken like the fucking previous year All-Stars. Like he's taken the team from last year's best baller. If you were like, shit, I got CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill, how awesome. In reality, that would have been a terrible outcome for you. So that's that. Shout out TX Politics here. Appreciate you being here. And thanks for the good luck to you as well. It's all you guys. Of course, it is just really the start of best ball season. We got another 4 months of doing this, and then we're right back at the NFL DFS weekly grind. And this year, too, going to be doing some more Battle Royale stuff on stream, so stay tuned here. I'll be throwing myself in addition to our usual haul of DraftKings nonsense. 0110 here. Good RB pocket with Jacobs. I'm not a big Jacobs guy, though. Personally, I am a guy that would go up and get Mike Evans, so I'm going to go up and get Mike Evans. So we did get a good little value, in my opinion, on Drake London. Reached a little bit for Mike Evans here. Got Gibbs at 5. I'm okay with the start, though. Jahmyr Gibbs, Drake London, Mike Evans. We're covering the bases here. We're not doing full RB piggy mode. I'm feeling dangerous. I'm feeling like I've got Wolverine claws popping out. That's not fair at all. Trent Richardson was not an avoided tackle rate guy. He didn't have a lot of juice. The one weird thing, which I've said a few times, it's weird that Genty wasn't good in the pass game at Boise State, but like, I'm sure there's a logical reason why that would have been. But you're still talking about a guy, 33% avoided tackle rate. So he's right there with where Bijan was. 0.2 EPA per rush, basically 0.19. That's all strong here. 5 intended red zone rushes a game. Tournaments to a touchdown a quarter of the time, which is firmly middle of the pack amidst the class. Plus EPA is also rushing and receiving in the red zone. Like, there's nothing wrong with Genty to me, besides the fact that, like, it might be hard for him to pay off, much like it was hard for Marvin Harrison to pay off in year 1. But it's easier for an RB to pay off, I think, in year 1 overall, just because you need to get the run out, you need to get the volume, and you need to have a team that's going to be willing to block and set you up. And I don't know. I still think Vegas, to me, makes the most sense for him. But if he gets Chicago as a landing spot, he probably comes up to, like, top 6, no? Like, I think he should. Ben Johnson offense. I think there's a chance Genty might be too low right now in terms of where his ADP will become coming BBM, but we'll see. But Vegas too, I think Vegas, he would stay flat there. Maybe Evan Mostert would scare people a little bit. Fucking taking Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels. When did a double elite QB, like, did people see the gritty guy and go like, this is it, man. This is, like, I no respect to that guy. Like, he seems like a lovely enough human being. I don't think he drafts that well, but like, whatever. And he honestly maybe does at certain things, but the overall context of his drafting doesn't seem the best to me. You don't take 2 elite QBs. You don't need to do that, especially like right at value. Like Jaden, a little bit of a discount here, but it's just so much capital to give away. And you're gaining what? Like these guys are both giving you 20, 25 points most weeks. So some weeks you're gaining 5 points because you have the other guy and you're losing out at every other position. I just think that's not very smart, but we've said enough. We got Drake London, Mike Evans. I think let's add Zay Flowers on top of that. I have him ranked at 39, basically going at the turn like he was last year. A player that was very good last year in terms of gaining yardage, not so good in terms of gaining touchdowns. But the hope, though, would be that this year, some positive regression there. My concern would be he's not really just a great target earner in the red zone, not really a great end zone target earner either, but still perfectly okay getting Zay Flowers as wide receiver 3 with Gibbs as our RB1. I like the start. I think this is a nice little team. Not anything crazy values, nothing like that stands out. But getting London at 20, I really do strongly believe he should be right here. That's me. Let's see what Case Swanson does here. Soaking up that clock on the turn. Really thinking about it. Rome Odunze. Chicago stack. Please don't take the whole clock again. All right, good job. Jordan Addison. Addison, another guy, probably a little bit higher than he should be going right now, in my opinion. Seems like we're going to be getting a suspension at some point. At that point, he'll just naturally come down 10, maybe 20 spots, worst case scenario. I like Addison as a player. I do like J.J. McCarthy as a QB as well. But I think Addison's a little bit overpriced right now. He shouldn't go ahead of Olave. I really would not want to do. We got into Cincinnati here. Don't need to take Burrow at a slight discount. Olave, I like a lot. Getting talked up by Kellen Moore a bit this week. Joe Mixon, probably going to be used similarly again this year. I don't think he's a bad click either. But let's take some more receivers. We got Gibbs. I think we made our bet on Gibbs potentially having an outlier year. You know, one of those legendary upside kind of years. Shout out Pat Corain, who I think I'm right now streaming against, by the way. So appreciate all you guys who are watching here. If you do enjoy the content, if you got value out of the content, please subscribe down below with the like button. Your engagements go a long way for me here. Again, right now we're in that pre-ramp up period. Going to be hitting it hard when BBM launches post-NFL draft. So get in now, hit the like button, subscribe. Every engagement goes a long way for me. Just one guy running this channel. And of course, my NBA MLB channel at Splash Play Bets. If you want to check that out later today for the NBA. And of course, our sponsors, Underdog. You got that $1,000 in bonus cash on Underdog. Check it out with promo code SPLASH. And if you want some other tools out there, unabated, great betting product. If you want to make some money off the NBA before the playoff season starts, you can get that right now. Promo code SPLASH, 20% off on all their packages at Unabated. And of course, Stochastic, 15% off all their little, I say that pejoratively. Their MLB deals that were so good for people out there with the $1 deals and all that, that's gone now. The only deal they're going to have is one like this, an affiliate like me getting 15% off. Promo code SPLASH. So you want some DFS tools and data? Click the link in the description. Go check out Stochastic and join the Discord too. If you join this channel, $5, you get access to the Discord. You can hear pretty much all my takes. This guy took Burrow too. Like, why is it that there's always just somebody? And this guy too is drafting like a fucking dipshit. This side of the board today, just full of fucking nope, full of Rihannas. People I don't like very much. That's it. That's what I was gonna say. 7 watching 30 likes. Yes, please hit the like button, guys. You can all do better. Thoughts on JMO? He showed out well last year. So I certainly wouldn't critique him on that aspect. 0.4 EPA per target, 21% target route run rate. Not a great red zone targeter. 0.7 red zone targets a game. Downfield targets 0.7 as well. Good for 0.8 EPA. I kind of think he's just a guy, to be honest, but there were games he spiked, and when he did spike, he kind of crushed Amon-Ra St. Brown, so I think that has utility for this kind of format where you want to push-pull, like let's say Amon-Ra carried teams week 15, week 16 in the playoffs, and you have JMO coming in the finals, and he goes over the top and wins a slate. I think that could happen, so I would say that for Jameson Williams, he's not a bad player. I just don't think he's like a uniquely special player. It's a better way to put it. It's good. Thank you. You can say that word if you're politically aligned in one way of things. You can't generally though. No, these have no fear. I think we wouldn't get canceled for that one, but not a word I try to say. I watch a show about an autistic raccoon with my child. There's a show, Carl the Collector, that one of my friends recommended because like he feels bad about having his similarly aged child watch like mindless schlock kind of content. So he recommended the show Carl the Collector, another one called City Island. And it's about like how cities work and like, you know, whatever. But written by the guys that did Wonder Shows, if anybody knows that show. So it's kind of like a fun show, but also definitely, you know, like a schoolhouse rock kind of thing. Let's make the pick here, and I will finish my autistic raccoon story. 0140 here. Kenneth Walker, I still feel pretty good about. We got things looking good at receiver at this point. If Juwan Jennings were here, I would take him. How is Jacoby Myers at 66? Is that? He goes at 73.5 now. Gino's going to help him out, but that's crazy. Anyway, there's a show called Carl the Collector, which is like an autistic raccoon who like collects stuff. Very charming show. It's like, it feels like woke Mad Libs, I think was the way my friend described it too, where it's like, oh, autistic raccoon and his friends of various, like whatever. And I think there's also an autistic girl fox on there as well. It's like, it's a cute little show. It's like, I enjoyed it. There's an episode where they wear fake mustaches that made me laugh. So maybe I'm an autistic raccoon deep down inside. Let's see. Is that guy drunk drafting 3 QBs that early? I'm sure he's got a plan. Yeah, Travis Hunter at 73. All right, guys, do you think Travis Hunter is a good pick at 73? Jesus Christ, man. I swear, like, the big board should be easy to win this year. Like, I know it won't be. It's still best ball. But, like, what are people doing, man? I'm going to take fucking Pickens again, too, because he's still here. Pick 77. You're taking Travis Hunter at 73? When you can take George Pickens at 77? Like, I can't be more clear. The Travis Hunter debate we just had. That's where it's wrong. That's where it's wrong. Anyway, we have a 0-2-5-0. Looking like a normal build here. No QB and tight end yet, but that's obviously fine. Gibbs and Kenneth Walker, like that as a start. Walker, if he could stay healthy, clearly going to get a lot of opportunity from Seattle. If not, and frankly, it's going to be a friendlier run offense with Clint Kubiak this year as well. Charbonnet earned some part of the role, but clearly Walker is the best guy. Drake London, Mike Evans, Zay Flowers, Chris Olave, and George Pickens, who's not quite as good as Travis Hunter. I think we can all agree, but he's going at 77. Jesus. Not been watching Righteous Gemstones, never got into it, though I feel like I should have. It just never didn't click with me off the first couple episodes, and I just didn't get there. White Lotus, we have been watching, though, so I won't spoil it because I know people have watched stuff in different paces, but finale coming up there. I actually like the season a lot more. I was very fatigued on the show with Jennifer Coolidge. I hated her character. I think women love that character. I know my wife loves Jennifer Coolidge and the character itself. And I found it so fucking tedious with her, like, the gays are trying to get me. Like, that's like Jennifer Coolidge impression and her fucking lips. Like, I hate it. So when she was Stifler's mom, more power to her. Great. Did a lot for Mills. Now, I don't fucking need Jennifer Coolidge. I was excited when she died. But once that was it, I was like, I don't fucking want to watch this show anymore. So, this year, though, I think it's been pretty good. A little too much brothers jerking each other off, perhaps, for me. But that's it. I'm sure you'd bag her, but I fucking hate it. It's just like, oh, what are we going to do today? Fucking Jennifer Coolidge, go away. Yeah, it's a bit much. Hunter is a good pick. Early in the big board to pick 120. There was a point where he was going in the 140s, 150s. People were like, he'll never touch wide receiver. That was when he was a good pick. But yeah, man, I think just stay away. Let him settle. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we hear. But no matter what, I really would keep in mind, it is very hard for a player to practice on defense and offense at the same time. That's why it doesn't happen very often. You can do it. All right. He got to the 180s. I didn't know he got that bad, but I do remember him going like reliably late 150s for a while. I don't know. I took him a little bit when he was there, but I didn't take enough. I just feel like, to me, a lot of the things that I'm just really uncertain about, I'm just taking stuff that I can find projectable. And I think Travis Hunter to me has not felt projectable at any point. But, we'll see what happens. All right, we got Tony Pollard, Caleb Johnson on the board. Caleb Johnson now finally an ADP that I think is correct if he's going to go here. I still probably wouldn't take him, though. Ramondre goes ahead of those guys. Another spot where you could take Baker and to be perfectly credible. Baker did a lot last year. I'm going to go. I mean, should I go Baker here? Hold on. Where's the Godwin guy's over there? Let's Let's go McMillan again first. 6th receiver here, getting a little aggressive, but I'm hoping we could push Baker back around. Could be wrong here. This could be a QB run. So we're rolling the dice here. Okay, let's we haven't done this in a while. Let's walk it down. Snow, you got no Chris Godwin. The only guy who needs a Tampa Bay QB is over here. You got Jalen Hurts. Okay, you're good. Snow didn't do it. Case Swanson, you seem like you're a little bit of a Rihanna. you took Travis Hunter at 73. Good. You took Caleb. No issue there. Caleb over Baker Mayfield. That feels great. Snow, you passed once. You got Jalen Hurts. You have no Tampa Bay stacks right now. You don't even have Bucky Irving. Why would you take Baker Mayfield? You shouldn't. You shouldn't take Baker Mayfield. You shouldn't waste as much time either. You should just let the clock go. Zach Charbonnet. Great pick for Snow. Mitchell Mack. You fuck. Why? What do you need Baker Mayfield for? Wait, what is going to stack up with him? What to know? Come the fuck on. Mitchell Sack. It was a good discount. I get it. Hey, we'll take Jared Goff instead. That's fine. Fucking fuck. Week 17 correlation with Bijan. We don't know that yet. We may never know that. Anyway, Jared Goff stacked up with Jahmyr Gibbs. That was a panic click too. I'm so mad at that. There's no fucking reason to do it. Ugh. But again, that said, better than a guy literally ruining Davis Maddox's hour yesterday, wasting his time. For a draft, by the way, that draft did get thrown out yesterday. We talked about on Lowell's that was also on Davis's stream. Got thrown out immediately. So that it was a waste of time for everybody. I couldn't get a good draft in during a workout. But I'll take, I guess, this guy sniping me on Baker Mayfield for no fucking reason. For old Bitchel Sack. Fucking unbelievable. Cooking steak, sorry for the delay, and no, it didn't. Oh, you're fucking Mitchell, you're Bitchel Sack? Oh, Snowman. I did not think you were a Mitchell. Unbelievable. If you're not, honestly, I think the rules still apply, Snowman. You did snipe me for no fucking reason. That's a 5-minute walk. If it is you, you gotta take the 5-minute timeout. If it's not you, I'm sorry. You just confuse you with the chat. But either way, you're taking a timeout. What is Neil with a K over here? 3 tight ends in a row. Again, just bad. Why? Why are you taking Lamar and Mahomes and then 3 QBs when you only have 1 RB, 4 receivers? Like, I guess you could do it. People just need to fucking read. Can all of you guys promise me to just read Mike Leone's Best Ball Manifesto this year? Can we make that our group homework assignment? Like, remember when you would be off in summer in school and it'd give you some books you had to read, like, especially when you get to like middle school or something. It's like, here, read these 5-10 books over the course of a summer so you're not just fully letting yourself become a jar of sludge over the course of time period. You're not going to school every day. That's what we need to do. It's like, you guys need to learn about draft capital, buckets. Remember the old draft capital buckets? Have you seen the Brick Caddy, the draft caddy tool that Brick and Pete have? Just fucking don't take 3 tight ends and 2 QBs in your top 10 rounds. Fucking insane. 1-2-6-0 build here. You know what? I haven't taken a lot of Cam Scattaboo. I think it's a Cam Scattaboo day. We want to be dangerous, and Cam Scattaboo can be dangerous. Cam Scattaboo is a player, by the way, that if you watch the first videos of the year, you'll know how I felt about him, where the numbers jumped out like crazy. My concern the entire time period is he wouldn't be a good enough athlete to get the draft capital we need for him to be good year one and to be available and getting where he needs to go with playing time in year one. That said, for Scattaboo, player with a 31% avoided tackle rate, 0.17 EPA per rush, 0.5 EPA in passing game per target on that, 38% avoided tackle rate per target, 5 red zone opportunities in the run game per game. And he had kept the plus EPA with that. So like he wasn't blowing it when he got red zone work. Scattaboo is your shot he's your shot at a Bucky Irving if he gets the right outcome. He's got the juice. There are other guys that could still be, I think, similarly good. Like, I do think RJ Harvey, DJ Giddens, if they go somewhere good, they'll be okay. But they just don't have the juice that Scattaboo has. Like, anytime you're around a 30% avoided tackle rate, like that number will play because you're going to lose about 20%. Or no, not 20%. You're going to fall to about 20% if you're a 30% guy, because you lose generally about 10% of your avoided tackle rate. Bucky, I think, ended up last year at 21% from 33% for him. So, like, you want guys that have extra juice in college because they're just going to lose it naturally, going against better competition in the NFL. Scadabo fits the criteria. I don't like the ADP still. I wish he were going to the 150s this whole time, and I would have been spamming him last year like I did Bucky. But, you know, at this point, he tested okay enough at the pro day, not fast, but the overall RAS profile is not bad. So I do like Scadabo a little bit more now. We have a 1-3-6-0 here. I think at this point, tight end would be okay. Really not a time for us to take a QB. Yeah, we don't have to do that yet. I'm going to take David Njoku here. West Coast offense, going to be the way they reshape Cleveland's offense this year. No matter what they have at QB out there, it seems like so far, if it's Kenny Pickett, if it's some other dog shit, probably going to target tight end a good amount. I think the wide receivers are really all overrated from last year because of the Jameson time period. They're all overinflated. And Njoku, though, is the guy that's going to be okay no matter what. Yeah, Kirk, I don't think is moving, man. They already didn't they already pay the roster bonus to him? So, like, at this point, I don't know. Contribution to the mental health care copay. Thank you. Thank you to our guy Robert Griffin III. I appreciate it. That's unfucking real, man. Especially if it was the snowman who's in streams every fucking day. You take an unstacked Baker Mayfield, and then look, you got your Quentin Johnston and Justin Herbert right after that. Just no reason to do it. My team would have been so much cleaner for it. But it is what it is. We know the game put it out on stream. And this year, even though I will be angry about it, Underdog is appropriately compensating me to lose my EV to fucking buffoonery. So it is what it is. Doesn't mean I won't be bitchy about it. But it does mean that I have to look at the bright side more, I think, for myself. And that's my rant for not getting Baker Mayfield 2 drafts on a row at a good ADP discount. Yeah, I would have thought back in January, I would have thought Kirk to Cleveland was such an easy fit. Now I think he's stuck in backup hell, being paid handsomely to do it, potentially. All right. Romeo Doubs at 130. That's a little bit high for him, huh? Yeah, Dobbs normally a 140 ADP. I like Dobbs a lot. I think Dobbs should be going 130, but you don't take him there now. Dobbs and Wicks too cheap on some weird assumption that Green Bay is going to bring in like a rookie who matters a ton when there aren't a lot of them in this class, and I just don't think it's the most likely. Dobbs and Wicks are two guys that I scoop up a ton that I barely touched last year because the ADPs are just so much softer, so much easier. Oh, Snowman's in the 2-hole. Okay, good. Thank you for Snowman. Then never mind. He took that 5-minute ban for nothing. That first chat was ambiguous. I was like, I don't think he's Mitchell Mack, but whatever. Somebody's got to pay the price for Mitchell Sacks transgressions against me and Baker Mayfield. He had the price of Packers receivers last year. Love them this year. You are on the same page as me. I think that they are really nicely priced this year. And Reed, I'm a little bit less in on still. Just the slot only stuff is not good. But like, you kind of remember Christian Watson is going to be gone for at least half the year, more likely 3/4 of the year, possibly the entire year. And with his injury stuff and how they ramp him up and the hamstrings and all that, there's no guarantee you really do get. You fucking took Penix. This fucking bitch doesn't have. He's got Darnell Mooney, May, Purdy, Penix. Two of which are stacked. Purdy not stacked. Just dog shit drafting, man. Ugh. I mean, it's like it's better for me that people make bad draft picks around me. But why? Like, why take Penix here? What is the point? This Dak price tag is getting real low, though. Snowman, we already went over this. My bad, but also it's a 5-minute ban. I think you'll survive. We got a 1-3-6-1 here. Loveland, Goddard, likely at tight end. I think at this point, I'll feel okay. I'll go Loveland. I'm much more of a Tyler Warren fan. I think that he shows to me some Brock Bowers-like traits, taking short throws, turn them into big plays. For Loveland, just got spam targets a lot in an offense that had nothing else. I I'm not sold on him as a player, but I think he'll get okay draft capital. And frankly, he might be the one that goes to Indianapolis rather, and like just ends up being a dude that's not getting targets because Josh Downs is also not getting targets and Michael Pittman's not getting targets. I think he runs that risk, but it's tight end 2. We'll take it. Indiscriminate lap taking. I mean, that's what it is. It's a 5-minute ban. It's just taking a lap. Anyway, Snow in the 2-hole, I don't care about. Mitchell Mack, though, enemy list. Nixon-style enemy list for him. Let's give this team a read here, too, for our next pick. We got Goff at QB, Gibbs, Walker, Scattaboo, London, Evans, Zay Flowers, Chris Olave, George Pickens, Jalen McMillan, tight end Njoku, and Colston Loveland. So really getting sniped on Penix is not my ideal because I think we could have been done at QB. And frankly, could have also taken Pitts and been done at receiver, or done a tight end rather. Yeah, Goddard has fallen, huh? For what reason? Because Philadelphia is willing to trade him because he wants an extension that they're not going to give him, and nobody wants to pay for him. I don't think it's a reason for him to fall. Likely, I'm okay with. I think we're just going to keep pushing QB. You know what? I don't like Tootin. 15 picks after ADP. Today's the day to get Bashal Tootin. He won't kill this team because we got Gibbs and Walker. I don't know that taking Scattaboo and Tootin, 2 guys who I have real questions about the run out here and what they get and what, how much they play in year 1. But they both avoid tackles. So that's the thing we're going to hold in this team. I guess we could take them in this one. Frankly, all 3 guys here, really high avoided tackle rate guys. All 4 rather. So we fit a criteria, if nothing else. Receiver, we got Drake London, Mike Evans, Zay Flowers, Chris Olave, George Pickens, Jalen McMillan. And then a tight end, David Njoku, and Colston Loveland. So that's it right now. And yes, he did. He took the fall for the 3-hole. That's what if you give me an ambiguous chat, if you can't articulate who you are in a chat room, then I don't know what to tell you. Because somebody had to pay the price for Mitchell Mack here. This transgression. This guy's taking another QB. I'm only doing this on stream once a week. So it really shouldn't bother me as much as it does. Why? What is the point of this? What are you accomplishing? Okay, great. You got Waddle stacked up at 2. You don't need 4 QBs in a row at the most important area to start building depth at positions that can actually spike and make your flex. Awful draft room. Awful draft room today. Besides Snow in the 2-hole is doing a great job. He hasn't affected me. He took his stint in the pen, and now he's back. This is just awful. But really, what I need to train my brain to, both as a content creator and as a player, and what we were talking about on Lulz yesterday with Brick, and how these people making stupid plays in your room directly benefits people in this room. It doesn't benefit the rest of the tournament. People being stupid. If this guy takes a 5th QB right now, it's inconvenient. He took Kyle Pitts. Great job. He stacked up Atlanta. But just bad picks here. Just a bad team. So you should look at the bright side, even though it does personally make my life a little more difficult. And that's what we're going to try to focus on here, even though bad teams. I hate seeing bad teams drafted because you should know better. If you're spending money, if you're spending fucking $10 on a draft, spending $25 on a BBM, you should know better. I strongly believe that. But whatever. Aaron Rodgers go to 160. Why? I mean, at this point, we're mostly going on stack. I'll take the shot on AR. I think it's a 3 QB build because we know Goff is going to have some weeks where he's only putting up 15 fantasy points. But with AR, he's going against winnable competition. As I've mentioned in the Discord before, and I think on stream as well, Daniel Jones had about 14% higher percentage points in terms of his catchable ball rate than AR. If it's a real competition, AR can lose the job, but I don't think it's a real competition. The way they paid Jones is kind of a contingent play. If AR just completely shits the bed again, doesn't improve at all. I think he'll improve. I think he'll be better. So I like AR. It's a winnable competition for both guys is the main thing here. And I think they are still going to skew it towards AR. But he has to be better. And I don't know. He showed enough to me down the home stretch last year. Like they started to run him more because like basically his career depends on him starting to run more. The overall season numbers aren't good. The first half of the year was atrocious at times, but it's there. The jersey's actually in a different part of the room right now, so I'm not putting it on for this. And frankly, this is not the year for the AR jersey. Every year it has to be a new jersey. Jaden I'll still put on because I didn't get it for a full season last year, but at this point, I think the AR jersey will not be worn on stream super often. 2462. Hard to wear a jersey for a guy you take a pick 160. All right. Neal's a big value. I don't really like him though. Corum, a little bit of ADP. I think I feel the best about taking Josh Palmer here. Don't really need him, but I'd like to get more here at what I feel is a reasonable price tag in the 170s. As mentioned earlier in the video, I think Keon Coleman can make some gains this year as like the only big kind of freakish athlete outside who can go up and get balls in the red zone and the end zone. But in my opinion, I think Josh Palmer and Khalil Shakir are going to add value as guys that can give you mostly 10-point weeks, but when things go well, can get you to 20, half-point PPR like Shakir did this year. They're very similar players, and Palmer got paid enough money. He got paid like Mooney money. So I think I am a fan of Josh Palmer at this price tag. Favorite any receiver to pair with AR? Not a lot of them. Probably Alec Pierce. I like Downs the most, but you would have to do that in advance. Pierce, at least you're getting in that same range normally. And Pierce, too, frankly, proved a lot as a deep ball receiver last year. Obviously, week to week, you're not going to rely on him or want to rely on him. But he put up a 0.4 EPA per target, so we're talking about pretty good numbers there. 17% target per out run rate's not good, but 2 deep targets a game. 0.3 EPA per target feels like it could be better if the QB play were a little more reliable. I think Pierce's role is sort of unique to this offense. I guess A.D. Mitchell can take more away in year 2 for him. I didn't see enough from A.D. Mitchell. I think Pierce kind of showed me a lot, but what's that? Watch a lot of Chargers games, didn't even see Palmer. That's because he was competing against better target earners on an offense that initially didn't want to throw very much. And he didn't do the same things as Quentin Johnston, who like they had a clear use for as your sacrificial X guy getting downfield and sometimes getting a target. But Palmer in previous years was really good when you had Keenan Allen out, when you had Mike Williams out. He could play the deep role. He could play the slot role. I think Buffalo saw that from him in his tape, and that's why they paid what they paid for him. But if you're a team like Buffalo, you don't give a contract to Palmer without like a use case for him, in my opinion. So I like Josh Palmer, but at 170 especially, going top 100, no, but 170, yes. Jelani Woods. Yeah, Jelani's the only Indianapolis receiver / tight end you want, I'm sure. Now that he's back, he had a full year off for his hamstring injury. I'm sure he's going to be good to go and at peak levels. We have a 2-4-7-2 build here. Feeling pretty good at receiver at this point. Third tight end will almost definitely be in play. Third QB, almost definitely in play. Want to get 1 or 2 more RBs in here. That's that. All right. What is this guy going to do? Oh, come on. We thought we were building momentum for me to make the click and be done. But nope, full clock here. Really got to think about it. Ooh, what do I do? Ooh, I simply don't know who I should pick. All right. I'm going to go Derek Carr, QB3 here. He and New Orleans stuck together because of the contract. We took Olave, so we are stacked up here. Theoretical game stacks for week 17 as well with Atlanta, with Tampa Bay. So Derek Carr is our pick, and he will not be a frequent bailout for me or as frequent of a bailout as he was last year. Though that did feel pretty good for the first couple weeks of the season. But I will take Derek Carr as a free QB. He's going to be a starter. If they got Jackson Dart, I'll be a little bit scared about that come BBM. But as it is right now, starter with a lot of money tied to it. If I had a choice between these two concepts, would you go to PD Pablo or Cisco? I think Cisco would be more of... I mean, I personally prefer PD Pablo. Cisco feels like a thing you could go to with like a girlfriend or a partner, and like you'll see people there nostalging out to it. So I'd probably say the latter is a better show. Solid squad. Would have been better with Baker Mayfield. I think we can all agree. But I appreciate that. Would have liked Eckler or really any of these guys to come back around. Eckler or Braylon Allen was what I was really hoping for. Damian Martinez going early, I didn't expect. Martinez getting some hype, though, from the underdog guys. I'm going to go Marshawn. I'm going to go third tight end, Juwan Johnson, because he might not come back to me. Want to complete the New Orleans stack, make it a double here. We need the third tight end, in my opinion. And Juwan Johnson got crazy paid, so we're going to live with that. A little bit thin in RB on the seam, I have to say. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do there at the end. I'm going to hope that some guys I like are still available for the last few picks. But we have a Jared Goff, Anthony Richardson, Derek Carr QB build. I could live with that as the room. Jameer Gibbs, Kenneth Walker, love the top two. Scattaboo and Tootin, I think, could be zeros for a lot of the year, so that does spook me in terms of a fully fleshed out RB room. Wide receiver, I like this room a good amount. Drake London at a value. Mike Evans, Zay Flowers, Chris Olave, George Pickens, all guys with real roles on teams, even though we don't love the Pickens-Pittsburgh situation too much. But getting him 10 picks after ADP behind Travis Hunter, that works. Joe McMillan, I am a fan of his. Would have liked him more in a Baker stack. And Josh Palmer at 170, rounding out the room. I think that works. David Njoku, 10-pick discount on him. Feels good. Loveland, 13-pick discount on him. Feels good. Juwan Johnson stacked up with Carr. Team works. Just the RB. Need a lot from the top two RBs, which is a little bit spooky. And one last run through plugs here, guys. Well, not last, but one more run through plugs here. Guys, subscribe down below with the like button, leave a comment, especially if you're watching live here, competing against the Juggernaut Davis Maddox streams, which I get. And I appreciate all you guys who are here, but I'll appreciate you even more if you hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment after the video as well. It all goes a long way for me here in these great stream wars of ours, much like Paramount Plus and Netflix. Actually, I'm totally the Paramount Plus. I've got good content. People don't watch it enough, though. Please subscribe with the like button. It goes a long way for me here. And of course, Underdog, $1,000 in bonus cash right now if you join with promo code SPLASH. Unabated, link down below, 20% off for all their great betting data, whether it's some market-based stuff or their NBA projections. Get it for 20% off and start making some money in betting with a great product in Unabated. And of course, Stochastic, 15% off, link down below. DFS tools and their sim stuff, it's all 15% off. Monthly packages, weekly packages, get the money saved for yourself, and then also give me half the money to be paying to Stochastic. So it's a win-win for both of us. Shake hands on that. And Discord too. Join the channel. $5 and you get added to the Discord. You can hear my takes across nights, days. I reply to everything as best I can. What more could you want? Love? Can't give you that. Sizable Loveland bag. All right. Scale of 1 to 10, how punchable is he in Rappaport's face? I've never liked the punchable face thing because people have accused me of having one at times in my life, and I don't think so. My face is tough. You don't want to punch my face. I'll break your hand. But yeah, like I don't know. I don't want to punch him. I think he's a bit of a wiener, though. I don't like the way he handled the Jordan Schultz thing. That's one I'll definitely commit to. Marshawn Lloyd's here. That's our boy. Pick 5. Year 2 for him. As long as Green Bay doesn't take another rookie, I think we are wheels up for Marshawn Lloyd. If they do take another rookie, we are at risk where he probably eroded some trust last year because of the fact that he was so injured, even though hamstring stuff, appendicitis, I don't know. Like, is that his fault? Appendicitis in particular, I don't feel like it's his fault. Though some people did have appendicitis last year and come back and play, so maybe it was his fault. But my guess at Lloyd's run out last year was that they were kind of saving him, knowing that, like, all right, we didn't hit the window for him to play. Like, he could have played the last 2 weeks last year. Let's get him ready for next year. That's my thought for Marshawn Lloyd, another guy who had a ton of juice in college. Not as big of a volume guy as, a Bucky was even at a smaller size, but still high avoided tackle rate, lots of efficiency to be had. Marshawn Lloyd, to me, still a good click. But let's see what these little characters do here. Should they take an RB every year? I don't think that's true. All right. 3-5-7-3. Got Jack Best, Torrey Horton going. Horton, a freak athlete. Best, very efficient, but not a freak athlete. Still a passable athlete, though, for being a white guy. Being a white guy who doesn't grade out and look very fast in particular. Daniel Jones goes, I want Jalen Royals here. I have Jalen Royals ranked really highly. He hasn't had buzz around him. I still think he goes top 3 rounds. He tested well athletically, was really good at Utah State. He's going to be lead up in competition, but he's got good size as well. Has some, I think, a little bit of Debo physicality, young Debo, not aged, washed Debo. So Jalen Royals, to me, wasn't planning on taking another receiver, but at pick 221, he shouldn't be that low. He shouldn't be behind Torrey Horton, Jack Bech. Really, all these guys. Marshawn Lloyd is also my highest drafted player last year. It was him, then it was Jaden Daniels and Bucky. And I think not in that order. I think it was Bucky first, then Jaden. So yeah, and shows how much you could survive a Marshawn Lloyd. Though my advance rate would have been appreciably higher, I believe, if Lloyd had given me a few usable games, let alone a weekly projection. But one of the lessons we learned from last year with guys like Quentin Johnson, guys like Troy Franklin this year, the RB is still the same thing. You don't throw out guys in year 2. Year 1 to year 2 leap is always one of the bigger things in the NFL and the NBA. Year 2 to year 3 leap also, you're expecting something built in there. Year 3 to year 4 is where you've mostly tapped out, most likely tapped out your potential. So that's sort of how I would view it, but your mileage may vary. But I would say for Marshawn Lloyd, though, he was really a crystallizing rookie, situation for me. Benson to a lesser extent, but I wasn't high on Benson, so it didn't affect me. But really these guys getting good draft capital, perfect situation. You could still end up in the Simpson softball situation that everything goes wrong and the guy goes down. That's why to me with rookies, sometimes you'll hit the Bucky run out and it'll be perfect. And he fit a lot of criteria that worked for me, but he also, the athletic testing was he fell because of that reason. And then he ended up in the perfect situation at the right price tag for the right team. It's not always going to happen though. So I think exercising caution for year 1 guys going to be one of the bigger lessons for me in basketball from last year. Oh, it hurt some asshole last year called Marshawn Lloyd. This year's Kendra Miller. What a schmuck. Well, yeah, would be on the nose, I suppose. Though he never really lost the coaching staff. They kept talking him up as opposed to Kendra, who got buried by Dennis Allen at every corner. Yeah, I'm curious to see the Marshawn Lloyd stuff in camp this year. Because Josh Jacobs, another year of mileage on the tires, would think you start to try to preserve him more. You've seen what he can do being the bell cow, probably more than they wanted to last year. They've always been a team that wants to use a couple backs. But, they have the other young guys too. And enough guys in the class who could be more reliable, certainly healthier than Marshawn Lloyd. That's the risk. We got our last pick coming up here, and we'll call it a day. Get Ty Felton, another freak athlete who's still available here if you need a receiver in the last round. Saquon Williams, I wouldn't hate taking. Restrepo was good at Miami, just the athletic testing was really bad. He's got to land at a perfect spot too. Not sold about that. What do we really need here? I'm still pretty comfortable taking the 4th tight end in these builds. Contingent value RBs, if Saquon were to go hurt, where will Shipley go? He'd probably go top 60, top 75 at the very least. Something to consider here when you are looking for that last RB. It's also possible. Though I don't think behind A.J. Dillon would be. He's too washed, I would say, at this point. He wasn't good when he was still healthy a couple of years ago. Now he was out for a year with a neck injury. I'm going to go Sean Tucker, though. I think Sean Tucker works in this build. Again, 4th tight end you could talk me into. Tucker, if we get a Rashad White Bucky going down, he immediately comes up exponentially. And he had some juice last year. We'll read the team, but just to close the loop on Sean Tucker had, not Trey Tucker, 0.2 EPA per rush, 0.4 EPA per pass, only a 12% avoided tackle rate, so not a lot of juice showing that he made those plays happen. But efficient, still got some red zone touches as well, 0.5 per game, despite being pretty far down the depth chart. So that's that. And they just close you out of drafts now. All right, so let's refresh and read the team one more time here. Final team: Jared Goff, Anthony Richardson, Derek Carr. At RB, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kenneth Walker, Cam Scatteraboo, one of very few shares for me, even though I do like him. Bashal Tootin, also one of very few shares for me, but I don't like him very much at his ADP. But a 15-pick discount, we can do it. Marshawn Lloyd took him, still like him. Sean Tucker, contingent value mostly, still there. Drake London, Mike Evans, Zay Flowers, Chris Olave, George Pickens, Jalen McMillan, Josh Palmer, and Jalen Royals, who should not be going 30 picks after ADP. I don't know why he is. He's not getting crazy hype from people, but if Underdog puts out a video on him at some point, I don't think they have yet. Like, I think there'll be steam for him because he should be a good film guy as well. Tough competition playing at Utah State, like not the best, but he's a good player, I think. David Njoku, Colston Loveland, Juwan Johnson. That is it. Dangerous draft rooms today. It really fucking, it's just like running through the Bowser Castle with these draft rooms today. But we got through it, guys, and I appreciate all you guys hanging out. Before we go, again, please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. All goes a long way for me here. Really, really and truly, if you enjoy the content, just show some love if you can so we get seen by some more people. Check out Underdog as well, that $1,000 of bonus cash. If we want to have a great 2026 in addition to 2025, you need to start converting some new Underdog subs. So please use promo code SPLASH on there. Deposit now. Get in the mix and come draft with me, and I'll call you an idiot if you draft like an idiot. Unabated 20% off, link down below. Stochastic 15% off, link down below. These are the only deals you're going to find out there for these sites, so take advantage of it if you can. Unabated, promo code SPLASH. Stochastic, promo code SPLASH. And join the Discord too. All you got to do is join this channel, sync your YouTube to your Discord, and you are good to go. Shout out to all the paying members. This has to be updated though. But you too can be on this list if you join the channel as well. And I remember to update on time. But gamble responsibly. It's always money time here. I'll be back at 4 p.m. on the Splash Play Bets channel doing today's NBA stream. So it's going to be a weird one for Toronto and Portland. Lots of guys out potentially in the back-to-back. So should be a fun value in NBA slate, even though DraftKings tournaments today, not the most exciting prize structures, but we'll do it anyway. I'll be there at 4. See you guys there. Enjoy your days. Thanks for hanging out. And good luck. And check out my LOL stream with Pete if you haven't yet either. All right. Bye-bye.